All right, welcome in this morning as we are in the middle of Division 4. This is the second chance bracket, trying to work your way back to the championship by winning a bunch of games, essentially. 12-8 is the lead here for Georgia-Cumberland, Georgia-Cumberland Academy, and Highland View in action here this morning. So Sadie Dixon to serve for the Jaguars. And that is an ace, and now a 13-8 lead for Georgia-Cumberland. Again, both of these teams have an opportunity to win a championship still, but let's just say you're going to have to win a lot of games today to get to that point. Set across, and now we have a double hit on the Tartans. So it is a 14-8 lead for Georgia-Cumberland. That serve is out of bounds on the far side, making it 14-9. And a timeout here to Georgia-Cumberland. So a 14-8 lead for the Jaguars over Highland View. We'll take a quick break here so I can figure out exactly what's going on, and we'll be back in just a moment. So a service error out of that timeout makes it 15-9. Georgia-Cumberland with the lead. As Lakin Scott checks in, she will get set to serve here. So that serve is dug out of that back line. Now the Jaguars with it. That hit out of bounds. That will make it 15-10. First of, I believe, 3 Division 4 games today in this particular facility. We'll have all of the championship games for you as well. And the serve by Jade Draper, played up front, now tipped across. Now middle of the floor, good play to Crawford. Now Highland will play it again. And tipped over, still ricocheting around, and eventually comes down on the Tartan side of the net. Good hustle from Georgia-Cumberland to keep things alive there. 16-10 is the lead for the Jaguars. Now Jordan Jabelinski to serve for Georgia-Cumberland. Back to the near side. That hit into the net by Taylor Zalzo. And it's 17-10. Jabelinski's serve. Played near side, all the way up almost into the mezzanine. That's about the 4th time in this tournament that I could have spiked the ball if I wanted to. 18-10. Now that serve into the net, making it 18-11. Back in for Georgia-Cumberland comes Sadie Dixon. Sarah Roberts checks in for the Tartans. She will serve. And Faith Wooten also into the lineup as well.
I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in this morning.
The serve here from Roberts, played back up near the net. And now sent over by Crawford. Tartan set it in the middle, put across there by Salzo.
Uh-oh.
And a little miss hit there from Sadie Dixon. And an 18-12 lead for Georgia-Cumberland. And Sarah Roberts to serve. Playing back to the near side. Good hit by Hughes. Over the floor. Now Georgia-Cumberland to play it again. And we've got a double hit on Aubrey Dansick, making it 18-13. And again, Roberts will get set to serve for Highland View. Let's play to the outside. And that's a kill for Liz Mary Rosales. And it's 19-13 Georgia-Cumberland. Shelby Hughes to serve for the Jaguars. And that serve sails wide right. And Shelby Llewellyn into the lineup for Georgia-Cumberland. 19-14, they lead it. And Karis Crawford to serve here for the Tartans. Across there by Jasmalis Rosales. Now to the back row. Dixon puts that across. And this hit out of bounds by Courtney Toady. 20-14, the lead for Georgia-Cumberland. Juliet Brom back in for the Jaguars. And Liz Mary Rosales will get set to serve here. Put across by Salzo, and a kill there makes it 20-15. Juliana Wilkins checks in for the Tartans. Taylor Salzo to serve, and for Georgia-Cumberland is Haley Peterson. Now the Tartans with an opportunity. Played by Dixon in the back row. A little bit of miscommunication, and now it's 20-16. Serve here by Salzo. We played up front. Put back down by Toady, and we have a double hit on Georgia-Cumberland. It's now 20-17.
This is the second match we've had the pleasure of watching these Lady Tartans from. They're from. Let me refresh my memory here. Hagerstown, Maryland.
Yeah, I was
yes,
sir.
sir.
Say, I thought it was Maryland. And an ace there from Taylor Salzo, and now a timeout to Georgia-Cumberland. It's 2018. Good little run here for the Lady Tartans.
Take a look over there at Coach Derek Boyce. I talked to him a little bit yesterday. He said his athletic director of Highland View came for a visit, checked out the Fort Bluff campus here, said he was pretty impressed and seriously considering bringing other sports teams in to participate in some of the other 8 sports that NACA holds national events for around the calendar.
Yeah, it's a really interesting that the NACA here at Fort Bluff Camp is a really interesting thing in the fact that there's nothing like it anywhere in the U.S., at least not that I've seen anyway. There are other national tournaments, and there are actually quite a few of them, or regional tournaments, but nothing combines what NACA combines, and that is camping, tournament play, and chapel services, and you put all that stuff together, and it makes for a very interesting weekend. So we have an ace making it 20-19.
These Lady Tartans are closing the gap here.
It's been a nice run. It was 20-15 at one point. That served out of bounds, making it 21-19, the lead for Georgia-Cumberland. And now Aubrey Dansick to serve for the Jaguars. So here played up front and returned into the net. So the ace makes it 22-19. And a timeout to the Lady Tartans. 3-point lead for Georgia-Cumberland. We'll take a break, come back with more in just a moment. (22-19), the lead for Georgia-Cumberland. There is not quite an ace yet. Wow, what a save by Salzo on the far side. I had just about given up on that. Lady Tartans tracked it down. Good tip across, and good thing they didn't give up on it because they ended up with a point. 22-20, the lead now for Georgia-Cumberland. Kayla Miller and Alex Fields back in for the Tartans. And there's an ace served up by Miller. And it's a 22-21 lead now for Georgia-Cumberland. Serve here from Miller. Played in that back row. And sent across by Jabelinski. There's a tip over. And we're tied at 22. So back in for Georgia-Cumberland comes Liz Mary Rosales. And the serve here from Kayla Miller. Bumped across, and Tartans will play it. Near side, put across by Rosales. Outside tipped over and blocked up front by Jordan Jabelinski. 23-22, Georgia-Cumberland with the lead. Shelby Hughes back into the Jaguars. And Sadie Dixon will check in and serve here. And service error makes it all tied up at 23. And Courtney Toti to serve. And another service error. Makes it 24-23, the lead for Georgia-Cumberland. As Lakin Scott checks in, she will serve what is game point here for the Jaguars in game one. He returned up front and tapped back over and down by Shelby Hughes. And game one, it goes to Georgia-Cumberland, 25-23 over Highland View. Take a break, come back with game 2 and 3 minutes. Catch up on some of our sponsors here at the NACA. So start of game number 2 here. And the serve by Aubrey Dancic. And we get this second game underway. Georgia-Cumberland took game 1. And they'll take an early lead here in game 2 off the tip across from Lakin Scott. And it's 1-0 Georgia-Cumberland. Again, the serve from Dancic is an ace, and it's now 2-0.
This Georgia-Cumberland team is coached by Caleb Leeper. They hail from Calhoun, Georgia, which is not too awful far from here.
Set back in the middle, Scott will pump it across. And the set to the outside, now tracked down and put over up front by Jabelinski. So quite a valley here for this point. Tipped across and down by Jabelinski, and it's a 3-0 lead for Georgia-Cumberland. Yeah, we're actually not real far from the Georgia border here. Matter of fact, you head down to Chattanooga, and you pretty much are in Georgia.
I think you came through pretty close to Calhoun on your way up here from the airport in Atlanta.
I probably did. Tipped across and down. It's a 3-1 lead now for Georgia-Cumberland as Caleb Miller and Alex Fields check in for the Lady Tartans. Yep, and I'll have to drive back down there tomorrow morning.
Mr. John Chappell resides just south of the great city of Chicago.
Just far enough out of the city to not be in the suburbs, but close enough to do what you want to do. We're about an hour south of Chicago. Still plenty busy enough, though. So Georgia-Cumberland trying to track it down. They cannot, and a 3-2 lead now for the Jaguars. And back to serve is Kayla Miller for the Tartans. Chapelinski hits it into the net. We're tied at 3. Yeah, first became familiar with this place back in the 90s when I played here in high school. Has this set near side, and Chapelinski puts it across. Now up front. Good hit there from Draper. Sent over by Rosales. Once again, a long point here and an illegal hit on the Lady Tartans. So now 4-3 the lead for Georgia-Cumberland. As Sadie Dixon checks in, she will serve. Played here for the now defunct Ridgewood Baptist Academy, Joliet, Illinois. That seems like a long time ago. Up front, that tipped across and into the net is Shelby Hughes. To the point will be awarded to the Tartans, and we're tied at 4. Karis Crawford back in for Highland View. Okay, up front. Tipped across. Still alive, though, and finally falls in. A 5-4 lead for Georgia-Cumberland. And Lakin Scott to serve. Serve here now, sent right back across. And out of bounds it goes. We're tied at 5. Well, a little seesaw battle here. No one wants to take control in game 2. This serve is touched, or else it would have been out of bounds. And an ace makes it 6-5 Highland View. So here played back up front and still alive. Now bumped across. Good hustle by the Tartans. Dixon will set it over. And once again, we have a double hit on Highland View. We're tied at 6. And Jordan Chapelinski to serve for Georgia-Cumberland. Set back across. Now in the middle for Danzig. Good set to the near side. Tipped over there and wouldn't quite go across the net for Kayla Miller. It's 7-6, the lead for Georgia-Cumberland. In for the Jaguars is Gismalis Rosales. Back in the middle of the floor, put across by Crawford for the kill, and we're tied at 7. Back in for the Tartans is Courtney Tote and Sarah Roberts, and Sarah will get set to serve. Serve here now played back and bumped across by Rosales. Outside, and a kill for Courtney Todian. It's an 8-7 lead for Highland View. And once again, Sarah Roberts to serve. Played up front, tipped across, and a nice play there from Aubrey Danzig. We're tied back up at 8 as Shelby Hughes will get set to serve. So the serve played now back up front, sent across by Salzo. That's the near side, put over by Rosales. Middle of the floor, good hit by Taylor Salzo. It's a 9-8 lead now for the Tartans. Shelby Llewellyn will check back in. Serve here from Crawford is returned just inside that back line. Back in for Georgia-Cumberland is Julianne Baum. Juliana Wilkins checks back in for the Tartans. Tied up at 9 here in game 2. Georgia-Cumberland has already taken game 1, 25-23. Serve in the middle. And we've got a lift on Juliette Brom, making it 10-9 Highland View. And now Taylor Salzo to serve. And that's out of bounds. So back tied up at 10. As Jordan Javelinski back in. Serve here from Danzig. Played now up front. Set back over. And now played across by Danzig. Tipped over there by Jabelinski. Set again in the middle of the floor and just set over. And now tipped across and down, and 11-10 is the lead for Georgia-Cumberland. Aubrey Danzig to serve. The serve now bounces around. Good save on that far side by Draper. Back to the middle, set back over. Now the Tartans another opportunity. And that would have been out of bounds, but it's touched by Shelby Llewellyn, and we're tied at 11. Alex Fields and Kayla Miller back in. Kayla will serve. Well played now up front and set across. And the return barely clears the net for Georgia-Cumberland. Now up front, tipped over there by Jabelinski. Up front. And now the Tartans try to play it across. Set in the middle, and we have a double hit on Highland View, so 12-11 the lead for Georgia-Cumberland. Shelby Hughes back in. Serve here is out of bounds. We're back tied at 12. Faith Wooten to serve for the Tartans. And that is going to turn into an ace. Should be 13-12, I believe.
Yeah. There we go.
I had it at 12-11 still. Serve here, now played up front. And tipped across by Jabelinski. And that hit under that by Crawford. We're tied at 13.
Boy, this is a hard-fought game, too, of this match. Neither one of these teams are wanting to give up a win to the other team.
That's definitely back and forth.
Very evenly matched.
Yeah, no one wants to take more than a 1-point lead at any given time, so it just stays close, kind of seesaws back and forth. Crawford, good hit, and that will come in as a kill. So 14-13, the lead for the Lady Tartans. Sadie Dixon will check in.
She put a little bit of mustard on that one.
Serve here is an ace, making it now 15-13. And Jay Draper to serve. And now 16-13.
Looks like Draper might have found a hot hand over here.
Yep.
It's going to force a timeout.
So timeout to Georgia-Cumberland. 16-13 is the lead for the Lady Tartans. Take a break. Back with more of Game 2 in just a moment. So the serve tracked down out of the timeout, and it's now 17-13. Serve here from Draper, out of bounds, making it 17-14. That was the longest run that anyone's had in game number 2. And as Juliana Wilkins checks in. And Jordan Jabelinski to serve for Georgia-Cumberland. And that hit into the net. It's now 17-15. Sadie Dixon will check out. And Jasmalis Rosales back in for Georgia-Cumberland. And this serve is going to turn into an ace because of a lift on the far side. So now 17-16, and Georgia-Cumberland getting right back in it. Jabelinski's serve is another ace. We're tied at 17. Jabelinski to serve again, and another ace, and it's now 18-17. It's a miscommunication for Highland View, and we have a timeout to the Lady Tartans. So Georgia-Cumberland making a little run. We'll take a break, come back with more of Game 2 here in just a moment. So Jordan Jablinski to serve out of the timeout. And that return back up front. Now tipped over and pushed across by the Tartans. And this bump back on the near side. Now tracked down. Tartans with an opportunity here. And a kill for Taylor Salzo. We're tied at 18. Sadie Dixon back in for Georgia-Cumberland. Courtney Tote back in for the Tartans, as is Sarah Roberts, and she will serve. Serve here, now track down. Played back for Hughes, who puts it across. And now bumped over. Good hit on the near side. Good take in the back row, too, by Wilkins. And that hit into the net. And it's a 19-18 lead for Georgia-Cumberland. Back to serve for the Jaguars is Shelby Hughes. Nice serve from Hughes. Now put across by Salzo. It's just tipped across. Played off the top of the net. Now back in the middle, put across for out of the outside. And some miscommunication on both sides of the net leads to a point for the Lady Tartans. We're tied at 19. Shelby Llewellyn back in for Georgia-Cumberland. And Faith Wooten checks in for the Tartans. And that returned out of bounds. And it's 20-19, the lead for Highland View.
Lady Tartans are on the attack.
Serve here. Play now on the near side. And we've got a double hit on Georgia-Cumberland. And it's 21-19, the lead for the Tartans. And that under the net. That'll make it 21-20. Juliet Brom back in for Georgia-Cumberland. And Juliana Wilkins checks back in for the Tartans. Serve here from Rosales is an ace. We're tied at 21. Liz Mary to serve it again. And this another ace, and it's 22-21, the lead for Georgia-Cumberland. And a timeout to the Tartans as they use their second timeout here. 22-21 is the lead for Georgia-Cumberland. Take a brief timeout. Be back here in just a moment. (22-21). That serve goes under the net, so we're back tied at 22 as Haley Peterson back in for Georgia-Cumberland. And Taylor's also to serve for Highland View. This play back up front and tipped across. Now Georgia-Cumberland with another opportunity here. Sent across and out of bounds. And 23-22 the lead for the Jaguars. As Jabelinski checks back in, replacing Sadie Dixon. Now Aubrey Danzig to serve. And it's bumped over. Now played to the far side. And that is in along that back line. Not really a bad play from Llewellyn, though. I mean, that was within inches of being out, and even if she would have played that, that's a difficult play. So we're back tied at 23. Now Kayla Miller to serve. It's played near side. This ricochets across. Played over. Middle of the floor, that hit out of bounds, and now 24-23, the lead for Georgia-Cumberland. Sadie Dixon and Shelby Hughes back in, and we're in the exact same spot we were at in game one, where Georgia-Cumberland won at 25-23. They have game point at 24-23 this time around. And this ricochets, and that is going to do it. And Ace makes it 25-23. Georgia-Cumberland with the win, and they get two straight wins. 25-23, 25-23. A very even matchup.
It was a hard-fought win right there.
Yep. And no one ever was more than 3 or 4 points ahead at any given time. Those two very evenly matched teams.
You got to give both teams their props on that in that match.
Yep, they kept working, and Georgia-Cumberland gets the win. So that'll do it for our first match of the day. I believe our next match is scheduled for 10:30. So we will take ourselves a little break, be back here in just a little bit. You've been watching the National Championship Volleyball Tournament from the NACA at Fort Bluff.